What's up, YouTube? Siegfried Lane here, and today we're going to be talking about Asmongold. Now, when I first started watching Asmongold, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really care for him. I thought he was an asshole who threw out xenophobic stereotypes towards Final Fantasy XIV, having never played the game, having no understanding of the game, and if there's one thing I can't stand, it's xenophobia. It drives me insane. I hate it. And as an American living in Japan who can sometimes deal with xenophobia from certain people, it's very annoying. But I watched, it was at the Belly or Worked a Game, and they said, he's very honest about everything. So I decided to give him another chance and see, was that true? And I'm going to be honest, it was. I was really impressed with how respectful he was over the whole Soken cancer issue, as well as just, actually finding things he was interested in the game, and then in the end deciding to play Final Fantasy XIV. I was actually quite excited about him playing Final Fantasy XIV because I had a really strong feeling he would really like the game if he gave it a shot. But he had to give it a shot, and he had to really give it a try. And then the fact that he refused to boost and decided he was going to play the game correctly, I really liked these. I thought it was great. A lot of respect. I had a lot of respect for him. And I've been catching every one of his streams. Well, at least the beginnings of them. Usually I have to go to sleep in the middle of them because I work in the morning, and then I usually watch it on my way to work. But I will say that one thing I've noticed watching him is that he's a jackass. And what I mean by jackass is he says things are a certain way, he gives his opinions, but then tries to tell everyone that it's a fact and everybody knows it's true. And, yeah, he can think he's right. That's, of course, a valid opinion. I mean, you shouldn't say something if you don't think you're right. And there's a difference between saying that he thinks he's right and everybody knows he's right. And I really have not liked his opinion. And if somebody has a different opinion from him, he just bans them. Not all the time, but if someone strongly voices him and there's disagreement of him and calls him out on his shit, he bans him for it. And I've also watched his chat pretty much defend that. And don't get me wrong, if somebody's attacking him, calling him a pedophilic, oh, you're playing a game with Lollifield, so you're a pedophile. You're playing a pedophile game. Okay, yeah, that's different. If they're attacking his person in that way, it's 100% correct. But honestly, both Asmongold, the persona, and Zack suffer from forms of narcissism. One, thinking that they can do everything better. The fact that he thinks he can make WoW better than the current WoW team, which maybe he could, but the fact is that's not always going to be true. He can make it better for himself, but I can make WoW better for myself, but I probably can make WoW better for everybody. And I can now see why the WoW fan, the major of the WoW base, don't like him. He thinks his opinion is always right, and he refuses anyone else's opinion. Now, I have watched his streams, and I have seen some stupid crap being thrown out in his streams towards FF14, which is the FF14 viewers, because, let's be honest, Asmon's chat is toxic. They are. If you watch them or you deal with the Reddit, they're toxic. They're always attacking something else and praising their own. And the majority of Final Fantasy XIV players are not attacking WoW that much. Yeah, they're welcoming the WoW players, but they're not attacking WoW. They're not like, oh, WoW is so crap, blah, blah, blah. But when you watch Asmon's stream, it's this constant combat between WoW and 14. More on his stream, which, to be perfectly honest, he breeds, he flames the fans of that. When you watch everyone else's, no one else has stood by Quinn. They've all called Quinn out on his bull crap, yet Asmon, that's the one thing Asmon refuses to do. Somebody does something, he'll call him out on that. But one of his friends is caught doing it, he doesn't have an opinion on it. Now, I do think it's best that he doesn't have an opinion on that, but I think it's pretty stupid of the chat to want him to call him out on that, but the fact is he still does. The worst thing is that he's playing 14, and he is not playing the way that would be required of anybody doing the content he's doing. You see, the majority of people doing the content that he's trying to do, there's a level of play they have to be able to hit, and he doesn't hit it. And I think he thinks that just because he cleared the ARR raids, which are the easiest raids, honestly, as they were the first set, he goes into the fights thinking that he can do everything. Thinking it's just going to be easy, and act like it's going to be easy, and he straight up says it's going to be easy. And then he spends all day on Thornton Extreme, which is a really hard fight. I mean, it took me a long time to clear that fight, but also, I didn't have, to be fair, I didn't have people who did the fight. He had people who'd done the fight and knew the fight, at least enough of them in there that fight could have been cleared easily enough. And yes, I cleared Thorn Extreme, by the way, at minimum eye level, because it was minimum eye level when I cleared it, because we were at level 16, it was new. I cleared Thorn when it was new, and I cleared it on Ninja. I actually have the video on my YouTube. You can go find the video on my YouTube where I actually cleared it. It's a lot of fun. It's a really good fight. It's a really fun fight. And I got lucky that one of my friends had a group that had cleared it, and they were able to invite me so I could finally get my clear, because I did know all the mechanics. But when one person knows the mechanics and seven don't, you can't clear it. So I actually had cleared it without dying once, I believe. But the thing is that, I mean, every time someone tries to give him advice, he just, oh no, I can do this, oh no, I'll do this when I need to do it, blah, blah. Simple things such as a timer. Oh, that's a waste of time. It's frustrating to see that he refuses, like, he's a very selfish player. And while I get to his stream, he's turned the raids into all about him. And that's really just not what 14 is about. 14 is not about you. And while it is true that people who join his parties know that's what's going to happen, that's not what the party is about. That's not what it's supposed to be about. And, I mean, it's really frustrating to see him treat the raids in a very disrespectful manner, which he does. He's very disrespectful towards Final Fantasy 14 raids, I believe. And anyone who tries to give him actual advice, not tell him how to play, but actually give him advice, say, hey, man, you need to start doing this. Hey, man, you should start doing that. Hey, this is why. And I've watched his chat. I've watched them tell him why they're saying, do this, this is why. They're not just telling him to do things. They're telling him this and this is why. And he just takes it and he literally ignores it and then ends up not clearing A4 Savage, which, to be perfectly honest, had he listened, he would have cleared it. Without a doubt, he would have cleared it. He has proven that his arrogance and his ego makes it to where it's impossible for him to listen to people. And it's really frustrating, and he's getting carried and thinks he's not getting carried, but he is getting carried in the sense of he's allowed to make mistakes that normal people can't make. A normal player who makes the mistakes he makes would have been kicked from the team a long time ago, but he is not. If he was in my party as a regular player and we were on something like a clear party, not a progression party, but a clear party, I would have kicked him. And if I had a party full of him who were doing the same stupid thing over and over again, dying, I would quit. I would leave it. Because it's just not worth it. Shh. And so, I mean, he's just shown a lack of an ability to humble himself and realize he's not playing World of Warcraft anymore. Not WoW. He's not been playing this game for 14 years. He's been playing this game for 2 months now. He doesn't know anything about it. He needs to stop acting like he knows all this stuff. He needs to get off his high horse, stop playing it like WoW. Which brings us to earlier this morning, earlier this morning. Which in his stream, he pretty much whined and cried about how people are being mean to him. And while it is true, there are some people in his chat that are just toxic a-holes, that's kind of his fault. He built his chat around that. He encouraged it. He constantly talks about how his chat is not toxic when they are, but he encourages it. And he's never once tried to stop any of it. He's just always said, you're not toxic, we're not toxic, we're nice. And no, they're really toxic. I've tried to post a few things in his Reddit that were just like, hey, you might find this interesting. And it's always something like, oh, did you Kevin read this? Oh, can you post this better next time so we can read it? Like some stupid jerkish thing that is getting said because that's his group. And honestly, the most toxic Final Fantasy 14 players I've been finding are in his group watching him. Now, I don't agree with half of what Xenos says because I think Xenos comes off as a real toxic asshole, to be honest, as well. But I've also seen him say he doesn't mean to sound that way. But I do know I would definitely never want to play with him, 100%. Not in any content, not in easy content, not in content that I know 100% and I can clear without a mistake. I just wouldn't want to play with him. I just wouldn't. Because he's not the person I think I would have fun playing with. But watching Asmon last night, or sorry, early this morning, last night for me, early this morning for you guys, watching him whine and cry about how people are being mean to him and how this just isn't fun and he's got to take off the bet because people are making it weird. That's not the dude. First of all, he never should have made the bet. Second of all, instead of just admitting, look, guys, I underestimated the difficulty of this, I'm not going to make it. Let's just be real. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to call the bet off. Instead, he's making an excuse for it. Like, oh, well, the community's being mean to me, so I'm not going to do it now. I mean, if he had said, look, I underestimated the bosses, man, it's harder than I thought it was going to be. There's no way I'm going to probably be able to make this like I thought I would, so I'm just going to cancel it. I know some people would have had an issue with it, but I would have been fine. I'd have been like, you know what, man? Totally cool. It's, it's easy to underestimate things. Just enjoy it and have fun. I don't care about the 10,000 subs. I just want you to have fun. But he can't even admit that he underestimated the bosses. Like, it's so obvious he underestimated the bosses, but he can't admit it. He's just like, oh, I didn't do this. I did well. I did a good job. It's not my fault. And it's really upsetting because he's blaming everyone else. And one thing I've learned about Zach is for a person who throws out words and calls other people thin-skinned and acts all like, everyone needs to be tougher, he's got some really thin skin. The man can't take criticism. The man can't take anything negative and always thinks he's right. So where does that leave us now with Asmongold? Personally, I hope he stops playing. I don't really want... I'm not going to go and harass him. I'm not going to attack him. I'm not going to make his gameplay any horrible. And I'm not saying that you should. But personally, I don't want him in the game at this point. I feel like a person who refuses to listen to advice given by actual raiders, real advice, who know what they're doing, refusing to listen to them, and then making himself out to be a victim when he was given, honestly, good criticism of how to be better. I'm definitely going to be removing my Amazon Twitch sub from him. That's for sure. I'm going to be throwing that probably towards Rich, because I like watching Rich. Rich is a fun guy to watch stream. Asmon is just... I just think he has way thin skin for someone who acts all tough. It acts like everybody else should have tougher skin. He just doesn't. And so, I don't know, man. If you guys been watching Asmon's streams, what do you guys think? Again, I watched him. I gave him a real chance. I wanted him to come play. And I think seeing his real personality, his real thin-skinned personality, where you can't take, where he can dish it out, but he can't take it, which is what I've seen. Anytime somebody has criticized him, he's always made himself out to be a victim at this point. And while he has literally gone out and done the same thing towards people, and then the excuse is, well, it wasn't a personal attack. Well, yes and no, depending on the situation. I just think he's gone too. I don't personally enjoy watching him. And again, I gave him a fair chance. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of Asmon? If you've been watching him, are you enjoying him? Do you agree with him? Do you think he's right that his own community has been negative towards him? Or do you think that he is just being really thin-skinned and can't take any criticism? I guess I'm going to end this off saying that the one thing I've really not liked is having him bring his experiences with WoW and then forming opinions about 14 off those experiences, such as the cat shop, and how bad the cat shop is in 14, how it's still bad just because of the experience with, and spouting things he really doesn't understand, because then that gets followed by other people, which is annoying. But anyways, leave a like, comment. What do you guys think of Asmon? Have you been enjoying his streams? Do you agree with him? Do you disagree with him? Do you want him to stay in the game? Do you not want him to stay in the game? Do you even care? Just, leave your post, leave your comment, and I will look forward to hearing from you guys. Siegfried Lane, signing out.